Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Read Aloud and mini lesson for Assignment 7 about the Spanish flu and COVID-19. So, our aim today is what can we learn from the 1918 Spanish flu about how to respond to the coronavirus, COVID-19? So, we're going to compare these two pandemics and see what we can figure out. So, for this assignment, I actually gave you a do now question to just kind of get you thinking, okay? So your do now up here at the top says, look at the images below from the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. Do they remind you of what is happening now with the coronavirus? Why or why not? And you can type your response down here in this section at the bottom. So we have a picture here of a family all wearing masks in 1918, and the woman's sign right here says, wear a mask or go to jail. And on the right, there's an advertisement that says, wear a mask and save your life. That's made by the Red Cross. And down here, you can see it says, a gauze mask is 99% proof against influenza. I don't know if that's really still true, but that's what the sign says. So, write your answer down here. Now, for a quick mini lesson, I want to go over what the Spanish flu pandemic was and, a little bit about the coronavirus pandemic so we can see how they compare. Okay, so the Spanish flu pandemic, this happened in 1918, all right? It's the last time we had what we consider a health pandemic in U.S. history, all right, 100 years ago. And the Spanish flu was a type of deadly flu that broke out in 1918, and it spread across the entire world, okay? It came from, people blamed Spain. That's why it's called the Spanish flu. But in reality, we still don't know where it came from. It could have come from Spain. It could have come from other countries in Europe. It could have come from the US, actually. It could have come from China. We're not really sure. Now, what effects did it have? It was like a flu, but more intense. Okay? It ended up killing over 50 million people worldwide and 675,000 people in the US alone. Okay? Hospitals were very overwhelmed with a lot of patients and a lot of people, because businesses closed just like they do now, right? A lot of people lost jobs and money. The way the US government responded was they actually did social distancing back then. They didn't call it social distancing, but it is what they did. They closed businesses and schools. They enforced a quarantine, telling people to stay home. People were required to wear masks, and things like spitting in the streets was banned. You were supposed to cover yourself when you coughed or sneezed, etc. So kind of similar to what's going on now. And the way it ended was that a bit over a year later in 1919, everyone who was infected, they either died or they developed immunity, right? Their body naturally developed an immunity. There actually was never a vaccine created for the Spanish flu until the 1940s. Now, we have much better medicine today, so that's good news. Don't worry, this was 100 years ago. Don't freak out. But that is what happened with the Spanish flu. So now if we scroll down, you can see a little bit of info about the current pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, okay? And the coronavirus, or COVID-19, I know we're probably familiar already, but it's a new type of flu that broke out in 2019 and is currently spreading across the world, okay? Where did it come from? It was first discovered in Wuhan, China, and it was transferred from an animal to a human. We're not really sure how, but we do know it came from an animal and was transferred to a human. But the reality is we're not sure exactly how that happened, okay? So far, the effects of the coronavirus, it has killed worldwide about 185,000 people, about 48,000 in the United States. There are some hospitals here that are overwhelmed with patients, okay? There are some hospitals that are not, but there are some that are overwhelmed and are a bit low on resources. And a lot of people, because businesses are closing, have lost jobs and have lost money, okay? And here is how the US government has responded. It's kind of different between different states. Some states have enforced social distancing. Okay, some like closing schools and businesses and putting people, telling people to stay home. The Center for Disease Control has warned people to wear masks and wash their hands while the government pays for antibody and vaccine research. And the government has sent $1,200 stimulus check payments to people who make under $99,000 a year.